G'day guys, and welcome back to this week's fishing report. Whether you're a seasoned angler or someone looking just to get into fishing, the fishing report is going to help you catch more fish this weekend. As always, these episodes are sponsored by 7 Seas Apparel. Don't forget to use code REALFISHING10, that's REEL Fishing10, to save yourself 10% off anything 7 Seas Apparel. Like and subscribe as always, and let's get into what's been biting around Sydney. Well, over the last week in Sydney, we've had some really nice conditions to head both out offshore and in our rivers, and there's been some nice fish. Out offshore, we've seen still a really nice bite of some mahi-mahi. Now, the season for mahi-mahi is slowly coming to an end, but there are still some really nice big mahi-mahi around the fads. Using hard body lures, whether that be a soft plastic, a deep diving Rapala X-Wrap style lure, towing them around the fads have been producing some really nice fish, particularly later on in the afternoon. Along with that, our kings have been absolutely on fire, whether that's in the river or out offshore. Now, out offshore along our cliffs, trolling our live baits and also having a soft plastic on hand, ready to go when you see some nice kings on the sounder, vertically jigging them with the soft plastic, along with having that live bait out back, have been producing some really nice fish out off Long Reef, along Sydney Harbour, along the cliffs between the Port Hacking and Botany Bay, and the south of the Port Hacking out off Marley there, have produced some really nice kings. In the river, Port Hacking has been the place to go to be able to target your kingfish, and this weekend with the running tide we should see some really nice captures. There's been a few metre plus ones around here and there around the deep water. The only thing about our river kingfish, they've been very sporadic. When they've been on for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and then they can go completely off the bite. Very common for our kingfish fishery at the moment. Big thing in regards to that, fish being caught on that run-in tide as well, on live baits and soft plastics. Along with that, our flats have been producing some really nice fish still. The water temperature at the moment is still quite high. We've got 23, 24 degrees, which is our typical summer water temperature. So we've had some really nice surface action on our whiting. Flats like Southwest Arm, Main Bar. The flats here along the Botany Bay region as well, and Upper Tower, have been producing some really nice whiting. Along with that, along that run out tide, we're producing some nice flathead still. That's what's been biting around Sydney. Let's get into where to head out this weekend. Now, when we look at the actual weather report, it doesn't look great in regards to the weather overall. We've got a bit of rain about, which could see to be quite persistent throughout the whole weekend. But if you can deal with the rain, there is some really nice conditions in regards to the wind is quite down, but it could be quite sporadic. So make sure you check your weather apps before you head out. So where should you be going on the weekend? We've got a nice run-in tide in the morning. The tide change at the top of the tide around 9:30 to 10 o'clock on both days. The plan would be, if we're going to go out fishing in the morning, we're going to fish that run-in tide. Now, whether that be targeting kingfish, using live baits or soft plastics, go find the points where they've got some really nice strong back eddies and a bit of reef about, particularly in the Port Hacking outside Main Bar there, along the deep water that surrounds Main Bar, is a really good spot on the run-in tide, along with the deeper spots between Southwest Arm and Lillipilly as well. Whether you're using live baits or soft plastics, purely up to your choice. Again, remember, they have a very short bite window in the river, and you've got to be there at the right place at the right time, ready to go. If kingfish are not your thing and heading up on the flats might be more of an option for you, what you could be doing is going up and targeting the whiting and the flathead really early. Once that tide turns and starts running out, I would follow the tide out along the flats and fish those edges for your flathead. Again, lures to use: topwater whiting, Daiwa slippery dogs. The Jackson Ebbie prawn is also another really good one. On the run out tide, 2.35 inch prawn. There's been a lot of prawns in the system over the last couple of weeks. I saw some really nice prawns in Botany Bay and the Port Hacking region. Fishing that run out tide using those 2.35 inch prawns is a really good one. Red herring color is an absolutely great one to use. Now, once that tide has turned and you're looking to target something else, around that tide change, maybe a few jewfish. Now, Southwest Arm, there's a few really nice places there to be able to target a few jewies, and Northwest Arm as well. Up in the Botany Bay region, you can go all the way down to the Georges River. Things like Como Bridge and the edges along Como is a really nice place for a dewey. But if you're gonna hang out in the bay there, the runways are also another really good spot for your mulloway. But what I'm gonna be targeting in the morning, this run-in tide is gonna help me either go target some whiting on top water. So I'm gonna try really early around sunrise, see if there's any whiting present and whether they're actively feeding. And by actively feeding, I mean slurping prawns off the surface and seeing lots of prawns skipping, and then that slurping noise, which is the whiting chasing them and actually trying to eat a few. So if they're active like that, that's what I'm gonna be targeting. Now, if they're not as active, what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna head up to the far reaches of our system, whether that be the Warrenora River or the Port Hacking, and I'm actually gonna fish a few deep rocky foreshore lines, casting under trees, right next to the rocks, and targeting some nice estuary perch. This time of year is a really good time of year to be targeting these style of fish, and it's something that I started last year, and I can't wait to go out and catch a few really nice estuary perch as well. Whether that be using top water early morning, then changing to a nice spike 45, a diving hard body is a really good one, and then going to a slowly sinking soft plastic 2.95 inch flick is a really good one to use for that as well. So that's the plan for this weekend. I hope you all go out and brave the conditions. Please make sure, obviously, you check the weather app, make sure you have the appropriate gear in case the weather does turn bad. As always, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week for the Fishing Report.